How's it going, YouTube? JamieTheKid00 here, coming to you guys a little bit differently. I've currently been testing a new build of mono-mermail, because I've decided to finally jump on the bandwagon after seeing Jeff Jones's deck list from recent YCS San Diego. And while I know that you guys are kind of tired of seeing mermail, even though I haven't done a lot of it in a while, I figured I'd come at you guys with a new kind of camera angle because my tripod got dropped when I moved back to uni, and it's a bit damaged at the moment, so I'm currently working on fixing it. So for now, I'm on a tiny little tripod, and I'm sitting behind it. So I wasn't sure how loud that would be, like if it was too loud for you guys. So if you have any issues with this video, I know that the camera has a bit of an issue with it constantly refocusing. But after you've watched this video, if you could comment below and tell me whether you prefer the old style, where I'm sat opposite the camera, or this new style, where I'm sat behind the camera, that'd be great, because that's the main idea of this. Even though it is a deck profile, I know you guys have kind of seen all this before. Either way, this is my kind of take on mono-mermail. You have the freedom to refer to me as a net decker after this video, because of course a lot of the texts are ripped from net decks. Of course, you'll notice a lot of them immediately. But it's just, to be honest, I really like it, so I really enjoy testing it. So you can call me what you want. Either way, let's get into the deck profile for the mono-mermail deck. So of course, as you know, in mono-mermail we play one copy of Abyss Lead. As a friend of mine will constantly remind you, this card is both your muscle card for looping with your things like Mermail Abyss Gund, and it's also your pseudo Mooling Glacier in this deck. The effect to tribute a Mermail that was on the field to take a card out of your opponent's hand, while originally when this card was first kind of revealed in the Japanese, it wasn't really thought to be that much of a big deal of an effect. Now it really does work so well as a pseudo Mooling Glacier. It's so good, and it's the reason why you don't play Mooling Glacier in the deck. So Abyss Lead, in all of its facilities, is so good. I mean, I've even started dropping it using its own effect now recently, just to get that effect off. And I mean, as Jeff Jones said in one of his games, he ended up dropping it against a Burn player, I think it was either Burn or Countdown, a Burn player, and he managed to take it was a Gishki player, managed to take an essential card off his hand with this, by ditching it manually. So it's not that much of a bad ditch, but you still want to try and avoid it and get it out of the deck as soon as possible with things like your Lind. So carrying on with the deck, play 3 copies, of course, the kind of the best general boss monster in the deck. 3 copies of Abyss Megalo. Abyss Megalo is, in my opinion, the MVP of the deck. He's the one who gets the best combo plays going with his ability to ditch 2. Ditch 2 I feel is my favourite ratio. While Abyss Tier sends 1, and it's a cool, good ratio. I really prefer my Megalo drops because I have a lot of fun with those. And the fact that it searches your Abyss Sphere or your Abyss Squall, it's absolutely essential for the deck. So you all know my opinions on Megalo after watching my past videos. 3 Abyss Megalo is absolutely staple for this deck. I would not play it with any less. If I had less, I would stick to Untitled Mermail because it's harder to search this in this deck. Then we play 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Teus, because this is mono-mermail, and I'm currently trying to find room for this in Untitled Mermail because, to be fair, it's so good at the moment. Abyss Teus is really good, but he comes into his own in this deck with his ability to search out your Mermail Abyss Guns, because of the fact that on his summon, his search is compulsory, so you have to search out a Mermail, which in Untitled Mermail usually searches your Linds, which you don't want to do. But in mono-mermail, he even searches out more of your combo pieces. Now, in Jeff Jones' mono-mermail, as I'm currently calling it, he will search out your Abyss Dine, but of course, as you will have been searching in the past, he will search out your Monster Reborn Abyss Gund. So in mono, this card really comes into its own. It's absolutely incredible, but I really want to try and find room for all of this in Untitled Mermail, or find room for Undines in this, because I feel that both decks have such good engines that I really want to try and incorporate the two together. Then we play the 3 best giant rats in the game. We play 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Lind, if I can not knock stuff flying, because these are new players' twist sleeves. 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Lind. It is an absolute staple for the deck. I do not understand why people play 2. I appreciate that drawing the 3rd is bad, but at the same time, when you're playing 2, if you draw 1, that puts you in a horrible position. So I really like 3 Lind. At the worst comes to the worst, I draw it, I set it, and I get my effect anyway as if I'd drawn a sphere. So I like Lind. Then we play 3 copies of Abyss Spike. I tested 2. 2 was far too few in this deck. 3 gets all your combos going. Ties in really nicely with this to make Abyss Dweller plays. If you've got one engraved, you pitch this and get another one, make Abyss Dwellers or Bahamut Sharks. So it's a really cool way to make Xyzes, and it's just such a good card. I really enjoy using it. And it searches this, which is always good. Then we play 2 copies of Abyss Gund, your tutorable monster reborn, what is not to love about it. And then we play Jeff Jones's most recent tech, Mermail Abyss Dine. Now, I like this card originally. You will have seen my, I believe in my sneak peek swag list, I picked a couple of these up because I really like the way this card works. It has 2 effects, and you can only activate one of its effects per turn. When she is added to hand, I said he there, sorry. When she is added to your hand by the effect of a mermail monster, you can special summon him. And her other effect is, when she is special summoned by the effect of a mermail monster, you can special summon I believe, level 3 or lower mermail from your graveyard. You can only use 1 mermail of this Dine effect, and once per turn, and you can only use 1 once per turn. Sorry, it's got a funny wording at the end of the card. Look it up on Wikia. Abyss Dine really comes into its own in a few facilities where, if you were to Lind it out, if you went Sphere Lind, and then the Lind dies, as Jeff Jones, I'm going to keep referencing him because this deck is based on Jeff Jones' interview for ARG. As Jeff Jones said, you can have your Lind destroyed. If you're being OTK'd and you need an extra monster to defend you, you can bring out the Dine in defense mode, and then the Dine will bring back the Lind from the graveyard. And it's really, really quite good. And also in one of the feature matches, you will read that he ditches, I believe, Dine and Gund from Megalo. Yeah, I believe it was Dine Gund from Megalo. Brought back the Dine with Gund's effect, and then the Dine brought back the Gund, and he was able to make an Xyz. So it's an instant rank 3 Xyz if you have these 2, which are both tutorable. So you can do a lot of really fun things with Abyss Dine, as I've been finding when I've been testing it, so I really like the card at the moment. Then for the Atlantean engine of the deck, we play 3 copies of Atlantean Dragoons, standard, 3 copies of Atlantean Marksman, and I'm currently playing 2 copies of Atlantean Infantry. A lot of people still only like 1, but I really love the ability to instantly remove an opponent's boss monster when it's bearing down on you. I'm still a big fan of the Sphere, instantly into Pike, activate Pike's effect to pay cost, and send this, just to immediately destroy my opponent's monster before it absolutely rapes my face. So the 2 infantries are great, and the infantry, of course, combos really nicely with our next card. 3 copies of Deep Sea Diva. Deep Sea Diva is, again, an absolutely amazing push card. It defies, in my opinion, the mechanics of this deck. I mean, it's the one card in the deck that doesn't lose to Abyss Dweller. That's one of the mechanics. It's the one card in the deck that basically does not have anything to do with the graveyard and can play around all sorts of things like Macrocosmos, Abyss Dweller, Soul Drain, etc., and usually can form an out to it in the form of Catastor. So that is our monster lineup. I wish I had room for Undines and other things, but that's a pretty heavy monster lineup. This is a 40-card deck, by the way. Then for the spells, we play 1 Reborn, 1 Darkhold, 1 Storm, 1 Avarice, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, because you need to get your opponent's problem cards off the board. It's simple as that, and it's really great in the mirror match, which is becoming more and more apparent now, because everyone seems to have mermails at the American YCSs. And then play 2 Salvages. This is different from other mono-mermail builds. I really like Salvage at the moment still. I just really love its mechanic, and I really enjoy having like Salvage in hand and a Megalo, and the ability to just completely set up a Megalo for whatever toolbox you need from the graveyard. So I really like Salvages, and with the amount of the big mer monsters in this deck, the Salvage really makes the mer monsters a lot more valid. So Salvages. Then for the traps, we play 1 Abyss Squall, because 2 is kind of unnecessary when you can search it, and you play 3 Megalo in the deck, so it's pretty easy to search. And the Megalo is easily searchable as well, so it all adds together. And then 3 copies of Abyss Sphere. Abyss Sphere, so good. Like, there's so many plays you can make with this, it's endless. This and Diva make insane plays. So, Spheres. That is the main deck. Onto the extra deck, which is still in lovely WCQ sleeves. So for the extra deck, we have the faux Gauze token, because we don't play Gauze, but it's still nice to have the token as the threat. The infamous Armory Arm to be tied in with the next monster. Armory Arm still really good in the deck, so really good to have. Especially seeing as we're playing 2 infantry now, so it's really easy to make with Diva. I play the Librarian and the Catastor, the Librarian for the Librarian Armory Arm, and as a Synchro Deterrent against certain Synchro decks. And then the Catastor, because it's Catastor and it deals with so many problems for this deck, including Abyss Dweller and other big, horrible things. Then for the 6s, we just play the Dularan. Still no need for another 6 in my opinion, but, like, because everything is solved by Dularan mostly, and Dularan makes amazing advantage plays. Then Gungnir. Gungnir is just so good. There was a Black Rose in here until, like, literally last minute, but I had to cut it for space for Xyzes, because the Dine gives you more Xyz plays. And then 1 Scrapdragon, because Scrapdragon removes things, and we love Scrap Dragon. Then for the Exceeders, we play one Gachi. I don't like Phoenix or anything like that, so the Gachi is enough. For the 3s, we play Zenmains, Leviathan Dragon, and Mermail, Abyss, Trite. Trite is obvious in and of itself, and it's really quite easy to manually make in this deck, and I've actually started using its actual effect in my Dueling Notebook and Dev Pro testing, so the ability to use this actual effect is great to like deter an effect onto itself. So you can attack into your opponent with ease and not fear some of the traps and things like that. So Trite is really, really awesome. Leviathan, you play for your attack ability. The fact you can detach a marksman off of it to use its effect, so to activate the marksman's effect and destroy an opponent's face down, which is great because you can remove the D-prisons before attacking with the Leviathan Dragon. And then the Zenmains I put back in because I don't normally play it in mono-mermail because of the Abyss Dying effect. And seeing in the feature match when Jeff Jones went Megalo Zenmains, it was a really well. He went Megalo and then dropped a Teus and basically resulted in Gaios Zenmains, which I thought was a really, really nice play. So I really like the Zenmains. Enough said. Then for the 4s, we play the 1 Abyss Dweller and the 1 Bahamut Shark. The Shark to go with the Trite and the Abyss Dweller because Abyss Dweller is so good in the mirror. And the fact that when it has a water monster underneath it, it boosts all your water monsters by 500, not just itself. So it makes itself 22. It makes your Megalo, 29. It makes your Gaios 32. So it's pretty good. Then for the 7s, because we don't play any other Exceeders, we play 1 Big Eye and then 2 copies of Mermail, Abyss, Gaios. Either way, guys, that has been the extra. I do not have a side built for you just yet because I'm lazy and I haven't finished the side deck for this yet. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed. This has been a mono-mermail deck profile. Let's just get the lovely Megalos back in front of the camera one last time. And I will see you guys next time. Again, let me know what you've thought of this camera angle. And otherwise, yeah, peace out, YouTube. Bye.